I love to think, and yesterday I went to the Book Bear, a used bookstore, and I bought a ton of hypnosis books for like $50, and they're great. And I found this book, and it's something I've heard people talk about, and I've done like, a quick YouTube search on it, but everything it seems so convoluted and complex, but like you have a type in this system, like Myers-Briggs sort of thing. And this book, I literally read the whole thing this morning because it was so straightforward and easy. And now I know my type and my husband's type, and it's already like making things better in our lives. So I'm going to read the 9 paragraphs, and your job is to pick your top 3. And ideally you'd put them in order of the one that is like, yeah, that's definitely me. I have no idea if you are going to be bored by this or not, but I think it's super interesting. Okay, so is this you? A, I approach things in an all or nothing way, especially issues that matter to me. I put a lot of value on being strong, honest, and dependable. What you see is what you get. I don't trust others until they have proven themselves to be reliable. I like people to be direct with me, and I know when someone's being devious, lying, or trying to manipulate me. I have a hard time tolerating weakness in people unless I understand the reason for their weakness or I see that they're trying to do something about it. Also, I have a hard time following orders or direction if I do not respect or agree with the person in authority. I'm much better at taking charge myself. I find it difficult not to display my feelings when I'm angry. I'm always ready to stick up for friends or loved ones, especially if I think they're being treated unjustly. I may not win every battle with others, but they know I've been there. Okay, so that's A. B, I have high internal standards for correctness. I expect myself to live up to those standards. It's easy for me to see what's wrong with things as they are, and I see how they could be improved. I may come across to people as overly critical or demanding perfection, but it's hard for me to ignore or accept things that are not done the right way. I pride myself on the fact that if I'm responsible for doing something, you can be sure I'll do it right. I sometimes have feelings of resentment when people don't try to do things properly or when people act irresponsibly or unfairly, although I usually try not to show it to them. For me, it's usually work before pleasure, and I suppress my desires as necessary to get the work done. Okay, so that's B. C, I think this one is me. You can let me know if you think it might be me too. I'm between this one and the next one. I seem to be all points of view pretty easily. I may even appear indecisive at times because I can see advantages and disadvantages on all sides. The ability to see all sides makes me good at helping people resolve their differences. The same ability can sometimes lead to me being more aware of other people's positions, agendas, and personal priorities than my own. It's not usual for me to become distracted and then get off task on important things I'm trying to do, but when that happens, my attention is often diverted to unimportant, trivial tasks. I have a hard time knowing what's really important to me. I avoid conflict by going along with what others want. People tend to consider me to be easygoing, pleasing, agreeable. It takes a lot to get me to the point of showing my anger directly at someone. I like life to be comfortable, harmonious, and others to be accepting of me. Yeah. Okay. D. I feel like I wonder if people are annoyed by this. But all the other videos take forever to get to the point, so I'm just reading them. D. I'm sensitive to other people's feelings. I can see what they need, even when I don't know them. Sometimes it's frustrating to be so aware of people's needs, especially their pain or unhappiness, because I'm not able to do as much for them as I'd like to. It's easy for me to give of myself. Sometimes I wish I was better at saying no, because I end up putting more energy into caring for others than taking care of myself. It hurts my feelings if people think I'm trying to manipulate or control them when all I'm trying to do is understand and help them. I like to be seen as warm-hearted and a good person, but when I'm not taken into account or appreciated, I can become very emotional, even demanding. Good relationships mean a great deal to me, and I'm willing to work hard to make them happen. So that was D. E. Being the best at what I do is a strong motivator for me. I've received a lot of recognition over the years for my accomplishments. I get a lot done and I'm successful in almost everything I take on. I identify strongly with what I do because, to a large degree, I think your value is based on what you accomplish and the recognition you get for it. I always have more to do than will fit in the time available, so I often set aside feelings and self-reflection in order to get things done, because there's always something to do. I find it hard to just sit and do nothing. I get impatient with people who don't use my time well. Sometimes I'd rather just take over a project someone's completing too slowly. I like to feel and appear on top of any situation. While I like to compete, I'm also a good team player. I might also be that. Maybe that's why I'm skipping the fluff and just laying it on you. E. Remember, you're picking your top 3. I would characterize myself as quiet, analytical, needs time alone. I prefer to observe what's going on rather than being in the middle of it. I don't like people to put too many demands on me or to expect me to report on what I'm feeling. I'm able to get in touch with my feelings better when I'm alone than when I'm with others. I often enjoy experiences I've had more when reliving them than actually going through them. I'm almost never bored when I'm alone because I have an active mental life. It's important for me to protect my time and energy and hence to live a simple, uncomplicated life and be as self-sufficient as possible. Okay, 3 left. G. I have a vivid imagination, especially when it comes to might be threatening to my safety or security. Ooh, this is so me too. I can usually spot what could be dangerous or harmful and may experience as much fear as if it were actually happening. I either always avoid danger or always challenge it head on. My imagination also leads to my ingenuity and a good, if somewhat offbeat, sense of humor. I would like for life to be more certain, but in general, I seem to doubt the people and things around me. I can usually see the shortcomings in the view someone is putting forward. I suppose that, as a consequence, some people may consider me to be astute. I tend to be suspicious of authority, and I'm not particularly comfortable being seen as the authority. Because I can see what is wrong with the generally held view of things, I tend to identify with the underdog causes. Once I've committed myself to a person or cause, I'm really loyal to it. Okay, 2 left. H. I am an optimistic person who enjoys coming up with new and interesting things to do. I have a very active mind that quickly moves back and forth between different ideas. I like to get a global picture of how these ideas fit together, and I get excited when I can connect concepts that initially don't appear to be related. I like to work on things that interest me. I have a lot of energy to devote to them. I have a hard time sticking with unrewarding and repetitive tasks. I like to be on the beginning of a project during the planning phase. Then there may be interesting options to consider. When I've exhausted my interest in something, it's difficult for me to stay with it because I want to move on to the next thing. Something gets me down, I prefer to shift my attention to more pleasant ideas. I believe people are entitled to an enjoyable life. Last one, I think. Yes. I'm a sensitive person with intense feelings. I often feel misunderstood and lonely because I feel different from everyone else. My behavior can appear like drama to others, and I've been criticized for being overly sensitive and over-amplifying my feelings. What's really going inside is my longing for both emotional connection and a deeply felt experience of relationship. I have difficulty fully appreciating the present relationships because of my tendency to want to have and to disdain what I don't have. The search for emotional connection has been with me all my life, and the absence of emotional connection has led to melancholy and depression. I sometimes wonder why other people seem to have more than I do, better relationships and happier ones. I have a refined sense of aesthetic, and I experience a rich world of emotions and meaning. Alrighty, ready? So, if you answered A, that is type 8. If you answered B, that is type 1. C, type 9. D, type 2. E, type 3. F, type 5. G, type 6. H type 7, I type 4, and you can, screenshot that if you want to. Oops. Okay, so find the one that you think you are the most. Out of those top 3, pick your number 1. And then notice that there's an arrow pointing away from you and towards you. The away from you is how you might act when you're calm. And the towards you is how you might act when you feel stressed. So you might shift into a different type of rule system. And after that, it goes on to tell you about yourself in the way that's like extremely uncomfortable and direct in just 2 pages. So I think I'm the performer. I'm also a different one as well, but this is type 3. Each type has a name. So type 3 is the performer. So it tells me all of these things. Like, what did I lose sight in? What did I believe instead? Stuff like that. So it also tells me my strengths and what I can do to support my development. And I really think all of this is spot on. I can't even believe someone boiled it down to something that actually works. And I kind of doubted that was the case when other people are like, have you checked out Enneagrams? But I think it might be the case. So for me, the performer, the fundamental principle I lost sight of. Everything works and gets done naturally according to universal laws. I kind of think that, like, if I don't sweep the floor, it's never going to get swept. And things will get done even if I don't, like, step up to do them. What I came to believe instead. What gets done is dependent on each person's individual effort. People are rewarded for what they do, not for being who they are. And here's the strategy I developed to deal with this. I learned to get love and approval by achieving success. By working hard to be the best. By maintaining a good image. I developed a self-driving go-ahead energy. So I think that in order for you to love me, or be like, yep, she's all right, she's good, that I have to be successful. I have to look good. I have to be being my best self all the time. That's a lot of work. And yeah, it's totally what I believe. And do I want to believe that? No, not at all. But they nailed me. Because of this, my attention is on all the things that have to be done. Tasks, goals, future achievements. Yeah, I totally can't let go of anything. Honestly, when I go to sleep at the end of the day, I'm like, who did I let down? What an awful way to look at life. Why not, like, who did I, like, lift up? The most efficient solutions are the ones that I always look for. I remember, like, getting in fights with my manager at the Museum of Science when he would be like, let's do it this way. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what if we did it this way? It'd save us 3 hours and I could drive home sooner. And that did not go over well. I put my energy into getting things done quickly and efficiently, staying active and busy, competing, achieving recognition and credit for my accomplishments, adjusting to whatever is required for success, promoting myself, and looking good. I do everything I can to avoid this, failing to achieve my desired goals. I have failed greatly. I could tell that story a different time. Being overshadowed by others, I don't think that bothers me. Losing face, yeah, if I don't live up to what I say I'm going to do, I would have really let myself down. Uncomfortable feelings and doubts that arise from inactivity and slowing my pace. I don't know how to slow down, and when I do, the first thing I think is, I should do this. What about this project? How about this? Let's go do that. Or I could be doing that with one hand while I'm doing this, like with my kids. Whatever distracts me from getting things done, including emotions. My strengths. I'm personable, enthusiastic, I'm a good leader, I'm self-assured, I'm practical, competent, efficient, I inspire hope, and have poise. what causes me stress. The pressure that comes from basing how good I feel about myself on how much I get done. Yeah. Prestige, power, not knowing my real feelings or values and doing too much. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm like, who am I letting down? How is that a good mirror of what I've done? It's awful. What makes me angry? Obstacles. Anything or anyone that threatens or thwarts the successful achievement of my goals. Incompetence, indecisiveness, inefficiency, and criticism. Yeah, the only obstacle that is really an obstacle is the obstacle I have no influence to interact with. That's very rare, and it's very frustrating and would make me angry. The nature of my anger, I get impatient, irritable, and occasional outbursts. Yeah, it's rare that I would explode. I think I've exploded 2 times in my life, and one was over death, and one was over something else that I'm not talking about right now. The ultimate goal of my development. To realize that love comes from who we are, not from what we do. That everything that needs to be done gets done according to natural laws and does not depend on our individual effort. Yeah. I feel like if I let you down, you won't like me anymore. And how could I let you down? By not answering a comment. Because no one likes to feel like they don't matter, so I don't want to make you feel like you don't matter, because of course you matter. How can I further my personal development, moderate my pace, let my emotions surface, ask myself what really matters, practice looking inward for my own identity apart from success? So if you took away my 40,000 Instagram followers, if you took away my face painting, if you took away all of the skills that I could pick up and show you that I've done, if you took away my hair, my makeup, my pretty clothes, how would I feel about myself? I think I'd be struggling. I'd be struggling hardcore. I don't want to try that, but if it came to it, I'd find a way to do it because there's no other alternative. Realize that love comes from being, not from doing or having. I wonder who loves me, not because of what I do. I don't really think people love me because of what I have, because I don't really have a whole lot other than knowledge and skills. But physically, it's sure, you can borrow a pair of scissors, but I only have 2 forks. Oh my God, that's a different story. What hinders my personal development? Impatience in dealing with my own and others' feelings. Working and overdoing to the point of fatigue and exhaustion, not slowing down. Yeah. When I've done my best work, I think I get about 3 hours of sleep a night, and I've done that for years sometimes, and whew, that certainly accumulates. How you could support someone like me, who's a type 3 Enneagram, a performer. You could encourage me to pay attention to feelings in relationships. Whoa, feelings? I like to talk about them when they're good, but say you want to watch a movie that's just depressing. Ugh, I can't stand it. I hate to feel sad. Why would I add that when there's plenty of sadness in the world already? Let's watch a movie and cry. No. But if you're hey, Noelle, maybe you should think about it. There's this quote, what you love is what you give your time to. And what are you giving your time to right now? YouTube. What could you be doing? Reading bedtime stories to your kids. They're already asleep, but you get the point. Show me that you care about me for who I am and not for what I've accomplished. I don't really know if people have done that for me before. And if they have, I don't think I've noticed it because I've been so obsessed with the performance part that I don't even know if I sometimes I feel like when someone gives me a compliment, that my compliment door is closed. And when they give me a compliment, it usually just like bounces off. But if they give me a compliment, I can tell they truly believe. It will stick to the door, but it will never get in. It's kind of like how I currently experience compliments. Be supportive when I tell you what is really true for me. Let me know what is important to you. Remind me to slow down and smell the roses. All right, so that's me, type 3, the performer. If you wanted to know more about what type you decided you were, I'll do one for you on it. I'll tell you the names of what each one is. So type 1 is the perfectionist, 2 is the giver, 3, performer, 4, romantic, 5, observer, 6, loyal skeptic, 7, the epicure, 8, the protector, last but not least, 9, the mediator. 3, 6, and 9 are all like the original sins. And I don't know, this book is so short and provided me a lot of insight. I like self-growth and reflection. I think most of these stupid books are probably written by number 3s, and I guess that's what I am. So it makes sense that I'm interested in it. Now, I've never done a live stream so educational or long, and I feel like people are going to hate it and not care about it. So if that's the case, just tell me. Or if it's not the case, tell me as well, because it will definitely influence what I do in the future. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.